Finding slope and y-intercept from a graph, part 2. Here's our second example. The first thing we need to do is find our ordered pairs for these points on our graph. Our first ordered pair is -2, +2. If you start at our origin and we go over to the left, 1, 2, our x value is -2. And then if we go up 1, 2, our y value would be 2. Our next coordinate, our ordered pair right here would be 2, 0. Starting at our origin, we go over 1, 2 for our x value, but we do not go up or down, so our y value is 0. Here I have set up our slope formula. We have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Here we have y's. Our y2 is 0. And then our y1 is 2, so we have 0 minus 2. And then x2 is 2, x1 is -2, so 2 minus -2. This will become adding. 0 minus 2 is -2. 2 plus 2 is 4. If we simplify our fraction, we end up with -1/2. So our slope is -1/2. Or -1/2. Our B or our y-intercept is where our line crosses our y-axis. So I have highlighted our y-axis right here. Now we need to find the spot where our line crosses that axis. I've circled the spot where it crosses the axis. It crosses the axis right here. At that point, that is a +1. The ordered pair for that point would be 0, 1. So you can write your y-intercept as the number 1 or an ordered pair as 0, 1. Another way to find slope on the graph, as stated in the last video, is to use rise over run. However, when we have a negative slope, as we do here, it's kind of confusing because we're not really rising. We're going in a negative or downward direction. So I had a student come up with, instead of rising, which means up, I had a student come up with a way to remember it. They came up with fall over flee. This is not the technical terminology, but is a way to help us remember a negative slope. Since when we're reading from left to right, we are falling, but we are still fleeing to the right. So instead of rising, we're gonna fall, but we're still gonna flee to the right. So you see how both times we're fleeing to the right, but instead of rise, we're gonna fall. So as you can see here, we have 1, 2 boxes, which means we've fallen 2. Anytime you fall, that would be a negative, so we have a -2. And we're still fleeing to the right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes, so we're fleeing to the right 4. So since we fleed to the right 4, we end up with a -2 on top. Our fall was -2. Our flee was 4. This will simplify to -1/2. So again, our slope is -1/2. I used the same picture so that you could see you can find the slope in 2 different ways. You can use the points and use our slope formula, or you can use rise over run, or when it's negative, you can use our little made up fall over flee.